Bulldogs. Thank you for joining us for our live stream question and answer session here at Bonham Middle School. I want to do a shout out for all of our parents. They asked a lot of questions. I hope we can clarify those today. And if you have any additional questions, if you will just add them in the comment section on the live stream, then I will get to those as soon as we finish the questions that have been preloaded. So at this time, I'm going to start with the questions that have been already sent in. What I want to assure everyone is our number one priority is to ensure that all students, teachers, and staff have a safe environment to return when students return on September the 8th. So we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we make that possible for everyone. So the first question that we asked you was, what questions or concerns do you have regarding your child coming to school? So let me start with some of our clarifications on that. Students will be transitioning to 8 classes a day, just like regular. We will have dividers running up and down the middle of the hallways to make sure students are walking on the right side and in one direction. Where possible, we have designated one-way hallways. The 200 hallway and the commons area are now one way. That will be enforced during the transition period. However, when students are entering the building or exiting the building, we will have the commons be one way coming in and one way going out so that they can exit the building in the most efficient manner possible. So another question we had was about our classroom safety. Our classrooms are going to be disinfected at the end of each period, and that is with a solution that has been approved for our district to use. Our fine arts are going to have additional protective gear that will be assigned per student during their class period. So every student in band and choir, for example, will have extra protective gear that they will use, and then we will disinfect those once a week since they are only one child is using those every day. The same child is using those every day. Locker rooms and our equipment are going to be disinfected after each period with an electrostatic disinfectant machine to make sure that all of our equipment stays protected and germ-free. PE students are not going to be dressing out, so maintaining personal spacing in the gym will not be a problem. We have a very large gym, and we can make sure that they are maintaining personal hygiene and distancing. Our cafeteria tables, we are going to be spacing out our cafeteria tables for extra room. And then we're going to also be using our commons area for that. And at this point, we're going to have students only sitting on one side of the table as room allows, so that we can keep as much social distancing as possible. Obviously, during lunch, the students will not be wearing their mask because they will be eating, but we want to continue to provide personal spacing where possible with that. We are not going to be having any guests coming into the school this year to have lunch, so that will also help with the crowding in the lunchroom to keep the students, to give the students as much space as possible. So students with symptoms of COVID will be sent to the nurse, and she will follow the guidelines from the CDC in our district. With that, students will be addressed if they're not following the healthy habit expectations of TISD, because we want to make sure that all of our students stay safe and that we're all doing our part to keep the school safe. So we will be addressing if any students are not following that. Again, our district will be going through the CDC and the health department for any staff member or student that does test positive, and we will make sure that we follow all of the regulations with that. There is a flow chart that I'm going to show you at the end of this video with our Back to School 2020 on the TISD website. It has all of the policies and procedures that TISD has put in place. So I will answer that, show you where that is at the end so you can see the flow chart for the protocols for that. We have added an extra 10 minutes to the first and eighth period. That way we can go ahead and do our screening with students as they enter the building and let them have time to have breakfast and go to their first period class. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have a controlled release so that we only release certain hallways at a time, so that we limit the amount of students exiting the building at one time. So there is an additional 10 minutes in first and eighth period. Students will always practice personal spacing with face coverings. And the personal spacing will depend on what is practical for that classroom. But we will be having face coverings, having hand sanitizers in every classroom, and disinfecting the classrooms at the end of every period. Students are always going to receive their accommodations that have been specified in an ART or a 504, so teachers will still follow those and communicate with the student on any additional needs that they have. Our case managers that are assigned to our special education students, they are going to be contacting them once a week and checking in with them and offering them additional tutorials and taking care of any issues that need to be adjusted for them. So again, just know that you will be contacted, your student will be contacted if they have, if they're under the SPED umbrella. You can still drop your child off early at school. The doors open at 7:25. We usually start letting students in about 7:15, sometimes 7:10, as long as we have staff members to watch them. This year we will bring them in. They will socially distance in the cafeteria. As soon as the breakfast line opens, we will allow them to have breakfast. And then at 7:30, we will start sending them to their first period class. So they will not be congregating in the hallways or in the cafeteria. They will personal space in the cafeteria, eat breakfast, and then go to their first period class. We are going to have staff all over the building. We will have staff in front of the school, in the commons, and at the back to help show students where to go because we know we didn't get to have that in-person orientation, and we want to make sure that nobody gets lost and we keep everybody feeling good about coming into the building. So we will have staff available for all of that. Staff is on duty from 7:25 until 4. So that is when they will be there covering those areas. Hand sanitizer, again, is available to all students as they enter every classroom. So that is part of our healthy habits protocols that we will be following. If you have a problem, if there's an issue, a health issue with masks or anything like that, please contact me, Sandra Atmar at tisd.org. It's sandra.atmar@tisd.org, or call me. I'm here at the office, 215-6600, and we can talk about those additional procedures that we need to make. So just contact me if you have any questions or special cases that we need to talk about. All middle school classes have advanced academics. They are pre-approved for this through our curriculum and instruction department. We are given the students that are to be put in those classrooms. So that is handled through them, but we do have advanced academics in every core subject. School supplies, just like always, your students will purchase their school supplies before they come to school. And then as we need additional supplies in the classrooms, we will provide those as a campus. But your student will have their own supplies that they bring at the beginning of every year. As part of Temple ISD safety protocols, all students and staff will be required to wear face coverings in the school and on the buses. Teachers will be monitoring the classes and checking with students as a whole group and also in small group. So if you're concerned because they have a face mask on that they may be overlooked, there will still be policies and procedures in place in the classroom, students raising their hand, having some signal to get the teacher's attention. The teachers will be very aware of your student needs and make sure that they are checking on all the students in the classroom to make sure that they are getting what they need with the curriculum. As far as supplies and passing papers around, we will have classroom procedures that follow our safety protocols and personal spacing, which will limit contact with classroom or other student supplies. So we will not be having students pick up papers or things like that. Again, another question about accommodations, and we will be following those. Teachers are going to be having virtual office hours this year. So if you're a remote learner, there will be 2 days a week where your teacher will have a remote learning office hour where your child can call in or log in and ask questions and get help on their work. And then on Fridays, our special ed teachers will be contacting students and making sure that they have been able to get help throughout the week with that also. The assignments virtually or remote will be as mirrored as closely as possible to the in-person instruction. We want both students to get the same level of instruction, so we will have assignments for remote learners that are maybe the same or are very much close to the on-campus learners. It will not be like in March when we kind of had this thrown at us. This will be a real remote learning opportunity, and the level and expectations will be the same. Remote learners still need to pick up their schedules because we do have consumable workbooks that need to be passed out so that they can use those at home. If you were part of Backpack Buddies, you will also need to come up and pick those up. The pickup time is September 3rd and 4th. So those 2 days are the days you can come up and get those. Schedules will also be on Skyward. But if you want to come in and pick things up, which every student will probably have to do anyway, you will need to go ahead and come on those days. If you are an on-campus learner, you will not have any supplies to pick up. So if you have your schedule on Skyward, you won't have to come in and physically pick up your schedule. Our teachers will be evaluating students like always. We will have assessments, CBAs, benchmarks. Those will be given remotely as well as in person, and teachers will keep up with students' process on that and make sure that they have what they need to be successful. Again, remote learners, you will have an assignment every single day in every single class that you have to complete within that day. You will have from 12 midnight to 11:59 or 12:01 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. to get the work done, but you have to log into every single class every single day and do an assignment in order to get credit for participating in that class for the day. And then if you don't, then that will show up that you did not participate and you were not present for that class, and that turns into a truancy issue, and you would be contacted about that. So yes, your materials are monitored every day, and then we do have the 2 live streams a week for you to work with your teachers on. There is no packet option for remote learning. Remote learning is going to be very similar to on-campus with expectations and assignments every day and logging in and checking in with your teacher and making sure that you're keeping up with everything. Let me see. I've already answered that one. Okay, so in PE, our students are still going to have to wear a mask. However, if we are able to maintain a 6-foot distance, or we are outside where there is plenty of space, then they might be allowed to take those masks off for a certain activity. But it is the expectation that all staff and students wear a mask unless personal spacing is able to be maintained. And that means at least a 6-foot distance. If you are remote and you want to participate in sports, you're more than welcome to do that. So any student can participate in after-school sports, concerts, UIL events. They are open to that. Of course, If you want to come on campus for the athletic period, you will be allowed to do that. All of our fine arts will be offered remotely, so you won't have to come on campus. But if you want to come for the athletic period to get that extra training, you can do that. You will be screened, go to the athletic period, and then you will return home to continue your remote learning. So again, remote students can come up after school or before school if they are participating in a practice or in a game, and that would be through the coaches or the fine art teachers. Fine arts does have additional safety precautions in place for their students. We do have extra safety materials that they will be utilizing. I think I talked about that a little bit earlier. And again, hand sanitizers. Pre-athletics, choir, all that, your coaches and fine arts teachers will have a Google Classroom, and you will have up-to-date information on their classes and the expectations with those. Again, we talked about that you can participate in after-school activities and UIL activities and concerts. They will just need to meet the performance standards in order to participate in those, but you do not have to be in person in that class to participate in those. Again, all electives, fine arts, core classes, you will log in every day and complete a daily assignment, and that should keep your skills up with those other after-school activities that you want to participate. Athletics is only for 7th and 8th grade. All 6th graders take PE. Athletics is going to have a parent meeting on September 5th here at BMS. You will be notified of the time. And the equipment pickup for football is going to be the same day as scheduled pickups. It'll be September 3rd and the 4th. Football practice begins on the 9th, and the first game will be on the 28th and the 29th. Google Classroom will have videos and assignments as required for all of our core and elective classes. When you pick up your schedule, you will have the code to the Google Classroom that your child needs to log into to get all the information, and then teachers will also be contacting students that have not logged in. Again, you can come on campus and participate in the athletic class and then return home to continue your remote learning. If you do not want to come on campus to attend the athletic class, you will be assigned to a PE class or to another elective to go ahead and have your 8, because you have to have 8 classes a day. And if you are signed up for athletic and don't attend, you won't get credit for that class, and it will also be a truancy issue. So we will just put you in another elective or put you in a PE class, which you can participate in remotely. That does not stop you from coming after school to participate in UIL events, concerts, and practices. Library books. So if you're a remote learner and want to know about library books, we have lunches and the breakfast for the next day passed out at every school from 10 to 10:30. You do have to go to your school of enrollment in order to get your lunch and breakfast for the next day. But if you have a library book request, that will be passed out with the lunches. So just let the library know what you want, or your teacher will let them know, and they will get those together. And as you pick up your lunch and breakfast for the next day, your library books will be there. All assessments for remote learners will be done online. So that is not a problem. We will have all of that ready for you. You will take the same assessments as on-campus learners. Picture day. So that's a very good question. Remote students will have to make an appointment to have their picture taken. So on campus, we will have the students personally spaced in the gym, one class at a time, have their picture taken. And then for our remote students, we will move that to the library, have them have an appointment. They will come in, get their picture taken, and then leave. Of course, we know people love athletics and fine arts, and that's why we're doing everything possible to make sure that you can participate in those and that we are following and maintaining our healthy habits as we participate in those, so that your child can participate in those safely. Next round of questions. As we sent out, we have a 6th grade orientation video and a 7th and 8th grade orientation video that are posted on our websites and our social media. So be sure to check those. For our procedures, we've kind of walked everyone through those. Students will enter the building after being screened and go to the cafeteria to eat breakfast and then go directly to their first period. Again, they will not be staying in the hallways. We've talked about lunch, how we're going to spread out as much as possible and keep our students safe. And we will be using the commons area for lunch also. And again, no guest will come and eat lunch with the students. Practice will be held before and after school. Your coaches will provide up-to-date information on that. Students will be screened before they go to practice. According to our TISD policy, all staff and students are required to wear face coverings. No guest will be allowed on campus without a prior appointment, and everyone will go through a daily screening quiz to come on campus. Again, the pickup and drop off will be the same. It just won't be as quickly because we have to go through the daily screening quiz before we allow a student to get out of the car or before we allow them to enter the building. So the school day is from 7:45 to 3:45. But again, we will start letting students into the building at 7:25. And then if we have staff available, they can come in a little bit earlier than that. Students are required to enter the bus with a face covering on the mask, and they will have assigned seating on the bus also. So the buses are disinfected after each run and at the end of the day. So we want to keep our buses as safe as possible also. If you want your child to bring extra wipes with their school supplies, they are welcome to do that so they can wipe down their desk and chair. I do want to let you know that at the end of every period, every desk and chair will be sprayed with a solution that we have been given that is CDC approved to disinfect them. But if you want to take additional precautions, that's fine. Students are able to use and bring their own supplies as needed. Now, of course, they can't give those to other kids and share that. But if they want to bring them for their personal use, that is perfectly fine. Again, unfortunately, we weren't able to have an in-person orientation, but we did have our videos that are posted on our social media and our website. I hope that you can watch those for up-to-date information. I know we have up-to-date information every day, and I'm going to show you where on the TISD website you can go to check that. Also, let's see. Okay, we have our schedule pickup on the 3rd and 4th. I think we've talked about that already. Again, we have consumables that we want to hand out to our remote learners. So we do need you to show up on the 3rd and 4th and pick those up. Again, schedules will be in Skyward on the 3rd and the 4th. So if you're an on-campus learner, you do not have to come actually hand pick up your schedule. And again, students that are in advanced classes, that was prearranged by our curriculum and instruction department based on prior grades and scores. So that is handled through our curriculum instruction. If you are a backpack buddy person, you can go ahead and pick that up on September 3rd and 4th also. They will be here on campus. And let's see, what other questions do we have? Again, we'll go through all of the flow charts with you in just a minute. We've talked about pickups and getting your consumables. All assessments are the same, whether you're remote or on campus. Tutoring is offered by all teachers. Again, they have 2 days a week that they offer remote office hours, but a child can always email or contact their teacher and they will get back with them within 24 to 36 hours if it's not already an assigned time for the student to log in. I just want to say thank you for all of your positive comments. We appreciate that. We're working really hard to make sure that you are advised of everything as it comes up. And so we appreciate your kind comments about that. Want to let you know, because we did make, this isn't up-to-date information. If you want to change to on-campus learning from remote learning, you need to contact me, Sandra Atmar, by the Monday before the next grading period. So I'm going to give you the dates for the first semester. So this is if you are remote, but you want to switch and come to on-campus learning. August 26th is the final date for you to make the decision for the first 6 weeks. Friday, October 9th, because Monday, the 12th is a holiday, you would have to contact me by October 9th to let me know if you want to come on campus for the second 6 weeks. And November 30th is the date for the third 6 weeks. So just let me know if you want to switch that. We just need at least a week notice for that so that we can get your schedule corrected and make sure that you come on campus and everything is ready for you. So again, thank you very much. I do want to show you, let's see if I can project this. We will go to the live stream now and I will show you how to get on the website. It's a TISD website and they do have a Back to School 2020 with lots of questions and answers for you. So thank you for joining me for this part and we will now go to our live stream.